There's two ways the body makes nitric oxide. There's an enzyme found in the lining of the blood vessel that converts arginine to nitric oxide, and this is a 5-electron oxidation reaction. And then there's the pathway that we can use through diet, which explains the Mediterranean diet, the Japanese diet. Every type of nutritional epidemiological research can be traced back to the production of nitric oxide through that dietary pattern. So when we lose the ability to make nitric oxide from both pathways, that's when symptoms set in and we start to get sick. And there's a number of nitric oxide products on the market put forth by companies who have no idea what the science is. So as a biochemist, we count electrons. And if you can't count electrons and apply this through the oxidation of arginine or the reduction, 3-electron reduction of nitrate, then you have no business being in the nitric oxide space. This is a study we published years ago showing that the older you get, the less nitric oxide you make. But this doesn't have to be the case. We can prevent this age-related decline in nitric oxide production because we now understand the enzymology and the biochemistry of nitric oxide to the extent that we can repair it and fix it. So I'll be 50 next week, but I have the vascular age of a 32-year-old. And I'm a Scotch-drinking, meat-eating, hell-raising Texan. So it doesn't have to be this way. So people ask me all the time, how do I restore nitric oxide production? And you only have to do two things. Stop doing the things that disrupt it and start doing the things that promote it. And typically, again, in detail, but what we've discovered is mouthwash use. We published on this about 10 years ago. People use mouthwash, kill the oral microbiome, shut down nitric oxide production. There's a reason we don't take an antibiotic every day for the rest of our life because of the destruction it does on the gut microbiome. Why would we destroy the oral microbiome every day with mouthwash use? 200 million Americans wake up every morning and use mouthwash. There's 200 million Americans that have an unsafe elevation in blood pressure. This is not coincidental. The other issue is fluoride. Fluoride's a neurotoxin, it's an antiseptic, and it kills your thyroid. Fluoride completely kills the oral microbiome, so you have to get rid of fluoride. Use fluoride-free toothpaste, buy a home filtration system. There's fluoride in most municipal water systems. The other problem is antacids. 200 million prescriptions written for proton pump inhibitors every year. These drugs are now causing 40% higher incidence of heart attack, stroke, and Alzheimer's. These are very dangerous drugs. Your body cannot and will not heal if you suppress stomach acid production. You can't break down proteins into amino acids. You get peptide fragments transported across the gut, and you develop autoimmune disease. In fact, antacids are the root cause of foodborne allergies and all autoimmune disease. And then it's just common sense. Balanced diet in moderation. I'm not a big fan of extreme diets, straight vegan, straight carnivore. I think we need nutrients from a diverse source. But certainly sugar is a toxin. Sugar is a poison. We need to avoid sugars. So once you do that, now your body's primed to actually generate nitric oxide on its own. But we can facilitate that through moderate physical exercise, throw in some more green leafy vegetables, infrared light. I'm a big fan of infrared saunas, 20, 30 minutes of sunlight a day, first sunlight in the morning. It's very beneficial. And then when all else fails, we have product technology that does it for you. So if your body can't produce nitric oxide, then here's where we come in. 20 years of science and a number of published, randomized, peer-reviewed clinical studies. But we made a solid dose form of nitric oxide gas. It's the only technology in the world where we generate nitric oxide gas. If your body can't make it, we do it for you. But we also understand the enzymology and the biochemistry that we can recouple the NOS enzyme. Now we're improving the body's ability to make it. And by the certain resident time of this lozenge in the mouth, we're restoring the oral microbiome. Most pathogenic opportunistic bacteria are sensitive to nitric oxide. The good, healthy commensals, non-pathogenics, actually produce nitric oxide. So the lozenge, by staying in your mouth for 5 to 6 minutes, kills the bad guys, restores the diversity of the oral microbiome. And we do this. We do this through a fermented beet powder. As you heard Dave said, most beets don't do anything. It's turn your urine and your feces pink and cause a lot of anxiety. So we ferment a beet powder, we pre-convert it, not relying on the bacteria or stomach acid, and we regenerate nitric oxide that way. We also have a topical nitric oxide where we apply for the first time nitric oxide directly to the skin. It improves fine lines and wrinkles, tone, texture, and clarity. Again, the skin is an outward reflection of internal health, but we can actually facilitate that. Just like any aging organ has decreased blood flow, improved collagen deposition, hydration, fine lines and wrinkles go away. So here are the facts. This take-home message: beets do not equal nitrate. Save your money. Most beets don't do anything. Nitrate does not equal nitric oxide. There's a very inefficient reduction of this that's dependent upon the oral microbiome. Arginine and citrulline products don't work in patients with endothelial dysfunction. In fact, a number of clinical studies have shown if you give arginine to a patient with endothelial dysfunction, they get worse. So what to look for in product technology: Is there evidence that the product actually works? Can you quantify, detect, and verify it produces nitric oxide? Published clinical trials. Most companies are never going to put their dietary supplement through a clinical trial. They're costly, and if it doesn't work, it's not going to move the needle. And then, has the inventor or formulator ever published original research? So don't be fooled by creative marketing. Science and experience matter. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It's the illusion of knowledge. So now we have no excuse. Get the information. But here's the conclusion. Nitric oxide controls and regulates blood flow and oxygen delivery to every cell in the body. There's an age-related decline that asserts its effect on cardiovascular risk, and we must use safe and effective nitric oxide product technology in order to optimize our health. But point blank, your body cannot and will not heal without nitric oxide.